It's party time, chasing it on the West Florida Golf Tour. Now here's your host, Kevin Walsh.
Hey, welcome to the program. I am really excited. This is our first one that we're recording. Our guest today, we're starting right at the top of the West Florida Golf Tour with the commissioner and the operator of the tour, Christian Bartolacci. We're going to bring him on in a minute, but I thought because it's our first broadcast, that it's probably appropriate to tell you a little bit about who we are, what we want to accomplish, and why we think there are plenty of good stories around us worth telling. First of all, my name's Kevin. I've played golf all my life, played college golf at Purdue, and I'm the Florida ambassador for Party Drinks. Party is a golf-specific cocktail. It was founded and created by Andrew McCabe, who you're going to meet on a later broadcast. And trust me, you're going to want to meet this guy. That's Andrew right there. That's Christian. And when I talk about Andrew as the kind of guy you want to go out and have dinner with or have a beverage with, I mean it in the best of ways. He is a food, wine, and spirit snob without being douchey. He noticed about 5 or 6 years ago, as we were seeing more social drinking on the golf course, namely with hard seltzers, as people were looking for an alternative to beer, he thought there could be something better. And that's how he created Party. All right. And as we started growing the company, we reached the point with a lot of small companies, you need to grow and you need to market. So we thought about a marketing tool to introduce people to our products, to let them know where they are. But a podcast just for marketing reasons doesn't serve anybody. So you have to provide good content. And we thought, well, what is closest to our hearts? What is closest to our roots? And that is golf. That's competitive golf in a place where we live and a place where we love. And that's the Suncoast on the west coast of Florida. So we teamed up with the West Florida Golf Tour. Guys who were like us, guys who are chasing it, guys who are dreamers, guys that want to build something. And we think you'll like them because they're your friends, they're your brothers, they're your neighbors, and they're people, they're just interesting. So that's why. All right. And if you could support our products, I'd appreciate it. You can find them. The list of the different places around the Suncoast is on our website at drinkparty.com. And a big thanks, by the way, and a lot of people are thinking about this. You probably know it. Everybody's coming to Florida. If your dream is to live on a golf course, there's nobody better than the real estate team of Vince Visicaro and Gene Walsh from Suncoast Dreams. Find property, suncoastdreams.com. You'll see that scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So if you want to live on a golf course, this is exactly what they do. They match you up with the places that are available. And so give them a call as well, 941-220-4000. Okay, so I promise, Christian, have you been enjoying the broadcast so far?
So far, so good.
You understand the methods of the madness, because just how does a podcast just start? And we're talking to the commissioner and a guy that loves pro golf. And so that's the reason for the preamble. And moving forward, I promise we will not be just plugging honks the whole time and annoy. But how are you, man? I'm glad to see you. We've been working on this for a while. How's life?
Everything's great. I want to thank you, first of all, for having me. This is something I really love doing. So anything I can do to help would be great. And we've got a lot of good stories and a lot of good people to talk about. So I'm ready to go.
Two Philly boys talking here.
Yep.
What could possibly go wrong with that? Right. Could we devolve in an argument about cheesesteaks and hoagies and soft pretzels at some point?
Yeah, I'm a Florida boy now, but I certainly have my Philly roots, being a Temple guy playing there. So, yeah, I mean, born and raised in Philly, but been down here now for 15 years, and I couldn't ask to be in a better place. I absolutely love it over here.
Same thing. Tell me, let's go back to the beginning. Where does your golf story begin? Where exactly in Philly? When did you start playing?
So I grew up at Yardley Country Club. My father and my uncle were both very, very good players. So I kind of I had two other brothers, and neither of them got into golf. So I was kind of the lone kid in the family that played, and I just grew up around the game. I got, dropped off every day in the summertime, played golf all day long. That was my summer camp. I didn't do much of anything else. And grew up at Yardley around a lot of good players. We had a lot of good teams, being in the gap matches, things like that. And people that Philly know that stuff. And then I just progressed. I went to Jericho National. Eventually my parents joined there when it opened. My uncle went there as well. So that kind of progressed. And then I, obviously went to college at Temple University, played for John McDonald, a great coach. And kind of progressed from there. I worked at a company called Brown and Partners. Mike Brown is a local guy in the area, great player. He gave me an opportunity, and the opportunity was that I didn't want to work for a living. So I decided to play golf for a living. And I gave it a try, and I played for about 5 years. I had a lot of success. I pretty much won at every level of golf, from juniors to in high school and in college, and in the mini tours. I just never played well at the right time. I never played well at Q school. Which is the reality of the situation for most of the players. You have to play good this time of year, which is currently what we're in now. And if you don't, you're stuck another year. So again, I had a lot of success. I was a good player. I still am in the PGA now. But I found a different way to go. I wanted to stay in golf. I wanted to help out some of the players, and I wanted to fix some of the mistakes that I think that I made when I played, and some of the opportunities that I didn't have. I wanted to make sure that the players had them. So that's kind of where we are now. And then, playing in the mini tours, I met my partner in the tour, who was originally his idea. I actually didn't think it was going to work, which is kind of hilarious. But we traveled together, playing the mini tours in Florida, and he wanted to start a golf tour, but I was working up north at Jericho National as an assistant in the PGA. And I kind of liked my life up there, but it got to a point where I wanted to be down here. And he offered me he said, listen, this is where we're going. This is your last chance. Do you want to do this? And I said, absolutely. So I came down, I took a little bit of a risk. And later he left and moved back to France and left me with the tour. And I've been running it ever since. So that's the synopsis real quick. And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Well, it's interesting. You brought up a couple of names, John McDonald and Mike Brown. They recruited me to play at Temple as well. I don't know that I ever shared that story with you.
No, didn't know that.
I ended up going to Purdue, but once you know certain people on a certain golf scene, you feel like you know them forever, and you can just pick up wherever it was. Let me take you back to Yardley again. When did you know you were a good player? Like, say, for instance, when did you break 80 for the first time?
Well, I broke 80 at Trenton Country Club. I don't remember the exact date, but I shot 79. And I believe I was I would have to say, it was in 8th grade.
Yeah,
8th grade, somewhere in there.
14.
Yeah, 13 or 14. I remember we walked with a caddy. It was like totally snobbish. We didn't have that at Yardley. Trenton was always the club that you wanted to go to. And we walked with a caddy. And 13 years old, I'm walking with a caddy. But and I remember exactly, I had to make bogey on the last hole. And
after you broke 80 that first time, did you feel like a different player?
No, I didn't, because I was always around good players. I was always around my father, my uncle. All the best amateurs played at Yardley. I was always trying to get on that team, so I knew I wasn't good yet. Like, there's they shoot in the 60s all the time they played. I mean, it's not a very hard golf course, but I needed to figure out a way to do that. So I knew I was on my way.
So Christian, take me back to breaking 80 for the first time. You were like 13 or 14. Did you feel like you had crossed a threshold, or did you it wasn't that big of a deal, because it was for me. I'll tell you, when I did it at 13 for the first time, and I just felt things were going to be different from that point on. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say I thought crossed the threshold. I mean, I was excited, I was proud, and I was happy, but I knew I wasn't a good player yet because I was around so many other players, kind of growing up. At Yardley Country Club, everybody was good. They were all shooting 69, and I was trying to make it on the team. So I kind of knew where I needed to be a good player. I knew I had what it took, and I knew I was going to get there eventually, but I wasn't there once I broke 80. No, I wouldn't say that.
Mm-hmm. First time you broke 70. What was that like? Where were you? How old?
That I actually don't know, but I can tell you I have 4 course records that I think some of them still hold. One of them was at Hershey Country Club. I made 9 straight birdies. That was to get into a web.com event back at the time. That was pretty cool. I birdied 9 straight holes. I had no idea from like the 5th hole to the 13th hole all night. I was out of my mind. I shot 63, and they gave me locker number 63 for the week, which I thought was super cool. That was something that I'll always remember. That's when everything kind of really clicked for me, I think. And that was when I was still in college. I was a sophomore in college. But I started shooting, at Yardley pretty much under par consistently, I would say, by my freshman year in high school. And I started getting to the point where it was like kind of becoming recurrent. And I actually really wanted to go to Ohio State. That was my dream. My father played there. He won the Kepler. He was a good player there. That was always my dream. I qualified for the U.S. Junior to go out and Flagstaff, and Coach Brown came out, who actually lives down here in Longboat Key now, and I always see him. But I wasn't good enough. I just wasn't at the time. I just wasn't a good enough high school player. I didn't have a good enough resume. Mm-hmm. But I stayed at Temple, and everything changed.
Yeah. Where did you guys play at Temple? Tell me where.
So we had home course was, depended on the day. Tuesday we played at Commonwealth. White Marsh was Wednesday. Philly Cricket Club was Thursday. Friday we played at Coach's Place. Coach's Place, Melrose, which we always like because we got golf carts and we got to ride around. But we had a good schedule. I mean, we had, like I said, I would have preferred like one home course. Old York Road was on Monday because Steve Probst, my college roommate, was his father was the pro there, so we could hit balls right there. So we had a different place each day, depending on the day.
Mm-hmm. So when you decided to chase it, and why did you come to the west coast of Florida? Why not Orlando Central or the other coast?
Well, mine was based on family. My family had a lot of friends in this area, so when my parents bought a house over here, I just kind of defaulted to here. I lived in Miami, North Miami, for 2 winters, stayed with a family friend, and they were building a house over here. And it was back when everything was kind of early, 2005, when everything was kind of really taking off, especially over here. And I came over here, and it was kind of been here ever since. I just absolutely love it.
Did you ever, so you're not chasing it like you once did. Now you're running the tour, but you're still playing.
No, my job full time is to run the West Florida Golf Tour and to take care of my 5-year-old. Those are my 2 jobs. But that being said, I have rededicated myself a little bit to the PGA. Like I do play in section events. I do take that very seriously. I care about my standing in the section. So I participate in all the events and, do my best to play in National Club Pros and play on the Cup team and things like that. So I've been a PGA member now. This is going into my 6th year come January. And, I've finished in, the top 12 on the points list all 15 years to get me on all 5 years to get me on the team. So I have had some success. I'm trying to break through to the top level because there's some very, very, very good players in our section. And I think I'm in the tier just kind of below them. I can compete with them, but I'm just underneath them, and I'm just starting to scratch the surface. But I'm going to get to a point where that's going to be something I'm going to be taking advantage of.
Where's home for you now? Where are you playing most of your golf?
So I live in Laurel Oak. It's a beautiful 36-hole community in Sarasota. It's off of Bee Ridge. They take care of me here pretty well. They have, like I said, 36 holes, so I don't get to play as much as I'd like, but having the range and a golf cart drive away, is pretty cool. So I've been very fortunate. This is a fantastic place to live, and I'm super excited that we were able to get here, because it's becoming harder and harder, especially in Sarasota, to find a place.
Yeah. At the time of this recording, it's the day before Thanksgiving. You got a little man. Is he pumped up about, or not Thanksgiving, Halloween? Sorry. Is the little man, is he dressing up? Are you going out with him?
Yep. We had our big cart parade on Saturday night here at Laurel Oak. Thousands and thousands of people come. All the carts are out. It's probably one of the best days of the year. So we drove around, decorated the golf cart. He's a Ninja Turtle, and I was a Ninja Turtle as well. I just wore a onesie, and he went around and he grabbed the candy, and that was it.
We had a little neighborhood Halloween party a couple of days early, and I dressed up as a pirate. And my wife dressed me up as that. And I told some of my neighbors, I said, it's not just a one-day wear. I might put this in the rotation. And they actually believe me. I might do it.
Halloween's my favorite holiday. I absolutely love it. I don't know.
It's cool, isn't it? It's like you could be a kid again, and you could be silly and completely ridiculous like I was on Saturday night.
Unbelievable. It's just to watch all the kids. I remember when I used to do it, it was a little different. My parents just let me go. Now we don't look at our site. The world's changed a little bit, but it was fun. It was a good time.
If I can we get just personal for a second?
Yep.
I know it's been a difficult year or so with the loss of your wife to cancer. How are you doing? And how has the golf community helped you rebound?
Yeah, I mean, it has been a tough year for obvious reasons. Obviously, the previous 2 years weren't easy either. It was almost harder in some ways, watching your wife go through something like that, especially with a young guy. But I've been extremely blessed during this situation. The people here at the club, her business, her work group, her work family, my family, the players, everybody's been very supportive. Everybody's always asking, how am I doing? And it's a tough one because, I try to put myself in their shoes. There's really nothing they can say, but I will tell you that just having people ask, it lets me know that they're thinking about me, and they were thinking about my wife. So that to me was very, very important, because there's really nothing to say. Nobody really understands how it feels or what it's going through, unless it's, kind of happened to you, but everybody's situation is obviously different. So we're doing okay. It's some days are, harder than others. I'm doing my best to move on, and, that's what she wanted. And I wanted, obviously make sure my kid's okay, Perry, that he's taken care of. So that's kind of where my focus is. So that's why I've, kind of rededicated a little bit towards, my golf. It's a safe haven for me. It's a place where I can go and find peace. I used to be a very fiery player, I would say, was always getting down on myself, things like that. And those things just don't matter anymore. I still care a lot, but it's easier to forget and move on.
Sure.
So that's kind of where we're at. So, the tour has taken a little bit of a hit in the sense that I've had to readjust kind of the way I do things, obviously being a stay-at-home dad now. So I've had to, kind of realign the way I wanted to run the business, and, the types of events that I want to have and where I want to have them and things like that. I mean, that's just the reality of my situation. My priorities changed a little bit. So the events are still run very, very well, and I just don't have as many of them. And I don't know whether that changes in the future, but right now that's just kind of where we're at. So, it's something where I still care a heck of a lot, and I still want to make sure that the players are moving on and getting to the next level, and I'm doing my best. But the golf has changed too. Like it's a lot harder to find golf courses nowadays. Like it's been really, really difficult. There's a lot of people down here playing golf. So the clubs just don't need events anymore, nor do they want them. So it's just something where we have to, not just me, but the section and the FSGA. And I mean, I've talked to all the directors and everything. It's hard to get golf courses. So it's almost come with my situation at a time where it's like, it's been okay, because the reality is it's harder to get golf courses anyway. So for me to scale back a little bit, so that I can be around for my kid a little bit more it's been Okay.
Now, I think you just revealed some of it, that maybe you don't get as upset with bad shots. And that kind of feels like my story too. It's just like I've got other things to worry about, but I don't like playing bad golf at all. Can you play a social round of golf, or are you always thinking about score and kind of competing against yourself, against par or others? What's it like?
No, I mean, I actually enjoy social golf now a lot. I actually really, really like it. It's probably more of my favorite golf because I enjoy the company I'm with, the people that I'm playing with, the stories that we're having. So yeah, social golf for me is fine. It's a lot of fun. I do really like the competitiveness. I like posting a score. I like seeing where I finished on the leaderboard. So that's nice that I can do both. But yeah, the casual rounds of golf now with the radio on and the music on and playing with your buddies and, having side games and things like that. That's something that's always going to be a part of me. And especially, being in the golf community where I'm at now, like Laurel Oak, we have a lot of good players here. So we have good games every week and there's always something to play in. So, but those to me are fun, and it puts things into perspective. And that's the one lesson I try to give my players, to listen to, or to kind of understand, that I've, kind of been through it. Obviously I never made it myself, but it doesn't mean that I don't understand the lessons of why I didn't make it and some of the reasons for that. And, enjoying the game, I think is more important than anything. I mean, especially with golf, it's not like with football or basketball, where if you miss your window and you don't get drafted, you're done. Like golf, I could try to make it on the PGA Tour next year if I wanted to. Like that's something that's very unique to our sport.
Tell me a good golf story. Be it meeting somebody. Jack, do you have any Jack or Tiger stories or somebody else?
No, I got a really good golf story. This is me and my boy Tiger.
Go
I was
back
fortunate enough.
I want to know.
Okay, when I was a junior golfer, I was a good player. I qualified for the US Junior. So because of that, we were able to, they took a group of kids up to Randall's Island, New York, and he was giving it was when he first came on the scene, he was giving a clinic with his dad. Everybody was there, and we were helping give the clinic to underprivileged city kids in Randall's Island, New York. So we were there, and he gave his clinic, and then afterwards he took all the instructors aside, all of us, and he gave us each a 10-minute lesson, and he literally just walked down the range, and my dad was there with a big camcorder on his shoulder, and I have it on video too, which is pretty cool. So that's probably the most unique thing. Obviously, this was when he first came on the scene. I think he just won the 97 Masters. So it was when he was at the height of his world thing, and to be able to have that and to sit there, and I remember exactly, what he was talking about and what he was telling me and things like that. So
is he still your guy?
Yes, I am. Yeah. I mean, I love Tiger. He's my favorite golfer. It's hard for me because I watch golf and I think I play golf so much and I'm always around the game. I don't like watching golf on TV. I can't stand it. So unless he's playing in the event, if it's like a major or the Ryder Cup, that's kind of what I watch. I'm not a big fan of turning it on just regular because I think I'm around it all day. So the last thing I want to do on the weekend is watch golf. I think it's a little different, but yes, he's my guy. I turn in when he's playing, and it's a shame what's happened with his injuries and stuff. I'm not sure if he's ever going to play again, but I've definitely being able to grow up in his era has been amazing. And I think it's really helped me, especially with where I'm at now. So.
Yeah, he inspired you. He inspired so many people. I think if you're of a certain age, it all starts with him and continues with him. I was a Jack guy, but that's an age thing too. Jack was in his prime when I was coming into golf. Tell me about alumni. I mean, you've had your developmental tour. You're very proud of that. You've had a number of guys make it on the PGA Tour. Do they keep in touch? What's friends?
They do, actually. It's pretty neat. Like I never actually thought that I'd be in this position, but I think I've been around them for so long. This is going on my 13th year of doing the tour. You create a lot of relationships. You see a lot of guys go through. Now, not everybody keeps in touch, obviously, but especially the ones that live locally, they do. we've had a lot of good players come through. I've had every type of player play on my tour, which has been amazing, really. I mean, I think we've done it the right way from the very beginning. I always tell the players, we're never going to make a living playing on the mini tours, but if you can get as much as your money back as possible and keep going to extend your dream, I think that's the important part. That's make your career last as long as possible. Nobody's thriving to be on the West Florida Golf Tour, but we're here for you when you're ready, when you're ready to move forward. I think that's the important part. We give you opportunities to chase your dream. And the Corda sisters have played, randomly in one-day events in the winter just to get ready for their season. They're not playing because it's the West Florida Golf Tour. They're playing because they're preparing for their next step. Emiliano Grillo was when he was at IMG.
Hold on. Can I stop you for a sec? When the Corda sisters play, do they play the tees?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, yes and no. Back when they played, my rules and regulations were different. I allowed them to play the up tees. But I'm actually at a different, I believe that if you play in the same competition, you need to play the same tees, playing for the same prizes. So I do have, if they were to play now, they would have the option to play up if they wanted, but then they couldn't compete for the purse. So again, someone like that, maybe they're just trying to get ready. It's not about the money for them. And again, they've only played in a handful of events, and we're talking years ago. They don't play anymore now. But people like Sandra Gall's played. So we've had women play. Yeah. Brittany Lincecum's won twice on our tour, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
She won a team event with her partner from the back tees. But, we got people like Emiliano Grillo won when he first started, when he was back at IMG. He won a one-day event. Guys like Tyler Duncan, Adam Shank, they were full members on the tour. They played a lot, and now they've moved on. Guys, current members, Eric Barnes, he's on tour right now. He's out of concession. Kevin Roy, same thing. They're both tour players right now. But then we've also had some celebrities play. We had John Daly play last year, which was kind of neat. Lee Jansen's played. The guys won two U.S. Opens back to back. Tony Jacklin was a huge supporter of the tour. His son is still one of our best players. He's played as well. Sean Jacklin, he's probably one of our best players now. And then you have the local somewhat celebrities, the Chris Kennedys, the Joey Lemieux's back in the day. Michael Visacki now, these guys, the ones that dominated for years at a time, on the tour. So we've had a ton of people play from all walks of the area too. We get people from all over the world that come and, base themselves here in the winter and then participate as well.
Yeah, all cool. Hey, listen, man, really appreciate the time talking to you. I want to keep in touch and want to bring some more guys on tour. I got Kyle Rhodes in the bullpen. He's coming. Oh,
good for you.
He's got some stories.
He'll have some stuff to say. I mean, those caddies know a lot of stories. He's actually a member here with me at Laurel. So we play a lot of golf together, and he's now in the PGA, which is somebody that I have to deal with now, which I'm not looking forward to.
But that's the evolution of life. We start in different places.
You are correct.
And we end up where we end up. But as long as golf is there for the journey, it's going to be a good journey. Hey, Christian, really appreciate everything. And as I say goodbye to you, I also want to thank our sponsors, Party Drinks, for sure, for a list of different places that it's available. Check out our website at drinkparty.com. I can also tell you just some retail stores, Rogers Market on Fruitville across the street from Founders Club, State Road 64 in Bradenton by Lorraine, the 7-Eleven there, and Lucky Mobile right across the street from the links at Greenfield Plantation, State Road 64, near I-75. And thank you to Vince Vizzacaro and Gene Walsh, your top producing golf course and luxury property realtor team with fine properties in Southwest Florida. For more information about them, check out suncoastdreams.com or call 941-220-4000. For Christian Bartolacci, I'm Kevin Walsh. We'll see you again next time.
You've been listening to Party Time, chasing it on the West Florida Golf Tour. For more information about where Party is available, go to drinkparty.com. And if your dream is to live on a golf course in Southwest Florida, check out their golf realtor specialists, Gene Walsh and Vince Vizzacaro, at suncoastdreams.com.